All right, let me get started. My name is Kiran. Been doing databases for the past 17, 18 years. That's the only thing I know. And been part of multiple companies like GE, Oracle, Optum, and so on and so forth. And I'm running a startup called Open Source DB based out of Hyderabad, India. That's where I hail from. And I also founded a couple of user groups at Hyderabad and Vizag. Apart from that, I'm also proud of a proud contributor at Postgres Women India, something that I am really happy about. And Chris here is also the chair at Code of Conduct Committee. I work with him on some of the aspects related to the sanctity of Postgres and the community and stuff. All right, so what I'm going to be doing today is, how many of you have looked at Postgres logical replication? I've been using Postgres logical replication. Can I see some hands in the air? Awesome. 2, 3, great. And so how many of you have had issues applying DDL replication when it is related to logical replication? Right? So we'll slightly up the antes here. We are talking about multi-master replication. Essentially, not even primary and secondary anymore. So, yeah. How many of you have heard about pgEdge or seen my sessions before at FOSSASIA or on YouTube? Okay, great. And we will also delve into what are some of the gugs where we can enable and make sure the multi-master plus the auto DDL can be worked in tandem. So if you look at what is even DDL replication, we have logical replication, we have a publisher, we have a subscriber. Somebody is now trying to add tables, somebody is trying to add columns to your tables that are part and parcel of publication, and you are now going ahead and making sure the subscriber also consumes those changes via the logical decoding. Yeah, let's just look at pgEdge platform, a very high level, I would say. When we are looking at the conventional logical replication, one primary and then bunch of subscribers, what pgEdge platform, which is an open source multi-master system, does is you have the capability of adding multiple masters, meaning you will create a mesh of subscribers between your nodes, and that's how you'll be able to do a multi-master replication. It's far more complex than what I had said in the last 15-20 seconds, so don't believe me if I say multi-master is easy to do. And this is the pgEdge platform overview. What are all some of the capabilities that pgEdge as a multi-master and an open source software can do? Completely an asynchronous logical replication between the masters that we are looking at. And some of the use cases where pgEdge has been working is providing ultra-high availability, making sure the latency could be brought down as minimum as possible. And the last one is the anti-chaos engine. Whenever we are talking about multi-masters, so there should be a utility, there should be a process to make sure we have validations in between the nodes, right? How many number of transactions are happening on node 1? How many of them are being digested and ingested into the multiple nodes that are part and parcel of your cluster, right? The ACE anti-chaos engine is the one which will make sure all of the nodes are eventually synchronized, eventually consistent at some point of time. Because look at the first point, it is always the asynchronous logical replication, right? So somebody who says, hey, what did you pick up off of CAP theorem? We picked up availability and partition tolerance. If you look at the pgEdge platform, right, most of it is something that we have seen already. There is Postgres engine that is available here, right? That's the core engine where we are working on. On top of that Postgres core engine, you have a bunch of extensions. One is this POG extension. That's the extension that takes care of most of the multi-master or active replication between the nodes we have in place. And whenever we are talking about multi-master replication, you have to have a strong sequences as an alternative to the native sequences available in Postgres. So you will have to work with Snowflake, again, a completely BSD licensed extension that is part and parcel of pgEdge. Now take a look at this POC, and then LOLOR. LOLOR is again another extension where you have the capability of replicating the large objects that are part and parcel of Postgres, right? Large objects have been available in Postgres for a very, very long time. In the native logical replication, we cannot replicate the large objects. So LLOR extension is one of those which will enable you to replicate the large objects. And where we can go ahead and set up the pgEdge on Postgres, right? These are the platforms we can do, right? Kubernetes, Docker, Akamai, be it an on-prem system or some of the cloud operators. Now, with the current system right now, let's just take a look at what is the DDL replication again. As DBAs right now, if you had attended Nishchay from Fujitsu's talk in the morning, which was the second, we were talking about how do we deploy some of the schema changes on the fly without any service disruption, without any of the downtime per se, right? The changes or the challenges will multiplex when we are talking about multi-master replications, right? For us to have a strong system in place, for us to have a DDL replication on a multi-master system, right? What should be part and parcel of it, right? Why is it even important for us to have the logical replication plus the DDL replication as part and parcel of it? That's one thing. And from an operational nightmares, if I may call them, so that is another important thing where we can say, hey, one developer does a change on the one of the master nodes, which does not reflect on other nodes. So that's again an operational nightmare that you do not want to be as a DBA. Now, from a very, very high level 10,000 feet overview, if we have to say, do we even need auto DDL? Do we even need logically replicating DDLs between all the masters that are part and parcel of it? I would say if I am given a chance, I would definitely look at making sure all my DDL changes, DML changes, or any change that happens in one of the nodes to be available across the board, right? Across the board, when I say it could be geographically spread out nodes, it could be on multiple cloud instances, it could be on the commodity hardware between different cities also. But the auto DDL is more of making sure all the DDLs that we are generating on the node one, or for that matter any node the application is connected to, we will be able to broadcast those changes onto other nodes. That's the whole crux of what auto DDL is. And yeah. Now, whenever we are looking at the auto DDL, auto DDL, or for that matter, the pgEdge versus the community edition of Postgres, right? These are some of the changes or some of the challenges that we have had as Postgres engineers and as Postgres developers for a very, very long time, no, Postgres community had logical replication starting from 9.4 onwards, which is like almost a decade ago. And PG10 had the logical replication part and parcel of its core, right? We did not needed the PG logical extension anymore. Now, from that versions onwards, PG10 onwards, which is like almost 7 years ago, if you looked at, this is one teething problem that we have always had, right? We are not able to broadcast the DDL changes that are happening on the master logical node to its bunch of logical replicas. So did we have have zero options with Postgres community? No, we have had event triggers helping us to make sure all the DDL changes that are happening on the logical master were going and broadcasted to the replicas. But event triggers had their own challenges, right? When we say challenges, this is more of, hey, now, am I having the connectivity between the logical master and the replicas, right? And then do I have the velocity at which the application is going ahead and making the changes, right? If there are DMLs that are happening at a very, very brisk pace, does that step into the shoes of DDL replication, right? These were all some of the challenges that we have had. And with these challenges, right, what we did is more of looked at, hey, how do we look at another set of tools, another set of multimaster, right? If you had seen PG16, there were introduction of multi-master replication now within that. So there is no conflict resolution at this point of time, but PG17 added a bit of conflict resolution. And with every version or every big, major version of Postgres, we are adding tons and tons of features. But this auto DDL or the DDL replication has always been a feature or a use case that we haven't had time to look at and implement a solution with, right? Now, what if we don't do the auto DDL, right? What are some of the challenges that we are looking at, right? This is the one that Nishay also pointed at, right? With PG role, you can do zero downtime schema changes, right? Like I said, when we are converting the logical replica, logical replication with a master and a read replica, we are talking about a completely different and a complex system, which is more of a multi-master system. Now, how do we achieve this with pgEdge, right? How do we achieve this with some of the utilities that are part and parcel of pgEdge? pgEdge platform, again, like I said, it's a completely source code available on the GitHub. We could look at what Spark extension can do, how it is going to help us in setting up both the active replication and making sure all the active nodes that are part and parcel of your cluster has the capability of consistently applying the DDL changes across the board, right? Now if you look at it, so we will also look at some of these important features, right? Whenever we talk about multi-master systems or active systems, so we have conflict resolution as one of the important points that we go ahead and say, hey, we have conflicts that are happening on one of the nodes, and how do we make sure these conflicts are either resolved or avoided on the destination nodes, right? That's how we are able to look at the consistent guarantee. How do we do that? We have replication sets as part and parcel of, right? People who have seen logical replication, they are not alienated, or they don't, the main utility that is part and parcel of the low-level APIs of Postgres logical replication is the replication set. So how do we broadcast some of the DML changes and stuff, right? Now, if we look at it, we'll skip this part because we looked at the stuff. So how do we do the pgEdge logical replication, right? Most of us know about the GUCs that are available. So these are the three GUCs that we have available that is part and parcel of pgEdge, right? So you have the capability of enabling and disabling the auto DDL, right? Which is another flexibility that I can have. The second one is if you have a bunch of functions that does DDL changes on the fly, so you can look at the allowed DDLs from functions. It can be switched on, it can be switched off, right? Now, take a look at some of the use cases where you can say, hey, I would like to have a system with DDL replication switched off by default, and then I can do whenever I want, right? How many of you are aware of this super cute little command, which is the pg reload conf? The one thing that I would say is this guy does not need a restart of the instance, right? Which is the most important piece of all. So you can go ahead and just reload the config, send a SIOP signal to the Postgres engine, and then you can be up and running with all of these GUCs that are available on the Postgres system. So the point that I'm trying to make here is the enabling and DDL, the disabling of the DDL, and making sure all the DDLs that are part and parcel of your replication sets, right? These three GUCs will take care of making sure you have a database system, you have a cluster, you have a bunch of nodes that are interconnected via this SPOC extension, and you will be able to go do the auto DDL on top of them. Right? Just taking a look at what are these GUCs from the understanding standpoint, right? So we are saying enable DDL replication is the primary GUC for us to go ahead and say, hey, now do I want to have the DDL replication enabled, right? Do I want to go ahead and broadcast all the changes, all the DDL changes that are part and parcel of my functions, right? The functions that are doing these changes, right? Can I go ahead and enable and disable, right? They have a strong connection with the triggers, the event triggers, or some of the earlier homegrown changes that we can make on the fly, right? If you are on a community Postgres, right? So you will be able to do event triggers and then see making those changes on the fly with your logical replicas. And when we are looking at how do we do this on production systems, right? How do we make sure some of the best practices are incorporated? How do we make sure, right, we don't step into the DDLs that are happening between the nodes? And how do we make sure some of the tables with or without primary keys, right? So if you take a look at logical replication on the community systems, right? What we say is the primary prerequisite is for us to have a primary key in place, right? So a table which is defined and then should have a primary key. Now, there are quite a few ORMs which does not enforce the primary keys to be created, or the ORMs warrant how the application database or the whole schema design is done. So for those cases, what we could do is you could look at adding the tables without a primary key to this default insert only table, right? Which means that if I am creating a DDL, if I am creating a table on the fly and then applying them on the node 1 and I do not define a primary key, so I'll be going ahead and making sure the table is added to the default insert only replication set. And some of the other things to keep in place is the setting a table as unlocked goes ahead and makes sure we do not want to lock, right? So we do not want to have any wall trace of those objects that are created, right? So all the unlocked tables will be removed off of the rep set, and you don't broadcast any of the changes that are happening between your databases. And then whenever we are working with partition, so partition maintenance is again is very hugely automated by the pgpartman extension. So pgEdge Spark works closely with the pgpartman extension and makes sure all the changes that are happening to the partitions are also reflected on the other nodes we have in place. And while we are looking at some of the things that we have seen in the last 20 odd minutes, right? So we looked at what are the use cases, right? Why do we need the logical replication plus auto DDL, right? Why do we need an external tool over and above the community Postgres, right? How can we resolve some of the operational challenges that we have as part and parcel of applying DDLs, applying DDLs on the fly, making sure your entire database nodes are in sync from a schema standpoint, right? So you will use pgEdge ACE, right, the anti-chaos engine, to make sure, hey, all the nodes that are available as part of the cluster have the latest and greatest schema or not, right? Does the nodes which are part of the replication sets, right? The 3 replications that we mentioned, right? One is the DDL, one is the insert only, default insert only, or for that matter, the tables which does not have a primary key, right? All of those are possible with pgEdge platform. So you just need to have your community Postgres and add the PG Spark extension on top of it to make it active, which is not something that we are discussing today. Making sure the auto DDL changes, right? Making sure the DDL changes that are happening across the board are being consumed, and that's what I have for you guys today on the chat, folks. I am happy to have any questions that I can answer.
Yes, anyone has any question, come over with the mic.
Thank you very much. I have a single question. You have invented a very complicated and really cool system, but I wonder, did you think about some consensus algorithms like Raft or something like this? Because it looks like you need linearization and you need master election, because logical masters can switch, and maybe what were the reasons to use it, not to use it? What is your experience?
Yeah, Raft is the exact consensus algorithm that we have used under the hood, as a matter of fact. So over and above the logical replication that we have as part and parcel of Postgres community, we picked up that source code and then incorporated some of the BDR, right? If you have heard about the bidirectional replication extensions that were available since 2013s and 2014s, which was end of life. BDR plus the PG logical extensions, right? We combined both of them, looked at how do we incorporate the multi-master system, active replication, plus some of the toothing problems that we have had with community Postgres, with respect to DDL replication, with respect to conflict avoidance and conflict resolution. And great question, by the way.
Yep, thank you for the question. Any quick one? But if not, we are also out of time. So thanks very much, Mr. Hari, for the interesting insights on pgEdge updates and insights. So the next speaker